You got one life, for crying out loud. You might as well just give it all you got.
The Deej, Dan Jordan.
Your daily dose of reality. Your daily dose of the Deej.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but I need my daily dose of the Deej.
I make the news. I don't watch the news. I'm a leader.
The Sales Energizer, Dan Jordan.
Listen, don't worry how to sell, baby. Worry about why people buy. And it's fun.
You don't need a 5-hour energy. All you need is the Sales Energizer.
Just when I think it's not going to be as fun as the one before, each one gets successfully better. What's the word I'm looking for? What's it going to take to get you into this car today, huh?
And now, please welcome the Sales Energizer, Dan Jordan.
There it is. There it is. You know what my favorite line in that intro video is? I don't think I've ever told you this. I make the news. I don't watch the news. I'm a leader.
News, baby. I don't watch the news. That's part of my little mantra that I go through each morning. You know,
well,
to
pump
myself up.
It's kind of like your
not follow. I believe, not doubt. I create, not destroy. I make the news. I don't watch the news. I'm a leader. I'm a force for good, force for God. I set the standard, defy the odds. I stand up. I take charge. I win. And then you walk into your sales call. I'm like a flipping animal. I mean, it gets to the point that they can't say no. You know?
You just can't get you if you don't get energized by that, then I'm sorry, just go back to bed.
Yeah, you know, there's two things about it. And this is, thank you for bringing this up. This is good because one, it forces all that positive energy into you because you're saying it out loud for the universe to hear. But secondly, it's blocking out all the garbage that's also in the universe that can drift in.
Yeah.
If you can protect what goes into your brain, if you could make that your sacred space and only allow what you want to come in there, the world is yours.
You know what? I kind of equate it to if you're backstage, if you're a rock band and you're ready to go on stage, Madison Square Garden or whatever, everybody circles up, they say a prayer or whatever, they're getting themselves pumped up. Or if you are a heavyweight champion, and you're about to walk out and get into the ring against a challenger who is really good as well. You want to say that. You want to get yourself pumped up because, you're in for a fight.
They do that. You look in the mirror. I'll do that. I actually, years ago when my kids were small and I used to take them on my, when I would do conventions and I would do speeches, I would take the kids with me. It was part of the deal. It's a 2-for-1 package. You got to take, the kid was like 12 or 13, but he was very helpful for me with the headset and all that stuff. And before we get going, Matthew always knew. He goes, okay, you ready for it? And so I do my little mantra. And then I'd say to him, who's the man? He'd say, you're the man. I said, who's the man? He goes, you're the man. Who's going to kill it? You're going to kill it. We had this little back and forth. By the time I had goosebumps thinking about the whole thing, almost as much as the goosebumps I'm getting right now, thinking about our next guest.
Well, yeah, because this is time. Listen, the build up to this heavyweight championship between sales and marketing online, I can't even go to LinkedIn anymore. I've got too many. It broke your LinkedIn today, apparently.
Yeah, I know. My LinkedIn is off the cock. And it's because Johnny Walker Red is coming on. And this guy's, he's like a big marketing. First of all, I'm nervous to have him come on because he's got that English accent. He automatically sounds smarter. Right. He's got that advantage right off the bat. Plus he's tall and he's good looking. I hate him already. That's
true. So let's bring him on. Are you ready? Are you ready?
I'm ready. Why don't you introduce him the right way?
Oh, okay. Let's do that for everyone. Hey, everyone, we are honored and to have the legendary, as Dan mentioned, Johnny Walker, who's the founder of Get Found, Get Hired, who helps six-figure job seekers get their ideal job faster for more money without even having to sell themselves, if you can believe that. Would you please welcome to Dan Jordan Live, Mr. Johnny Walker. Welcome.
Johnny Walker Red. I can't,
you come on the Dan Jordan show, hands raised like a champion before you've done anything. Just claim it.
Yeah, you got to own it, own it like that. Right. If we had, Johnny, if we had a real producer, there would be like crowd cheering in the background, but, so we got to deal with this stuff.
So here's the thing. I was just listening to the 2 minutes beforehand. Every day I have my daily statement, which is the same as the daily mantra. Because life's hard, unless you get your game head on. One of my 2 shows every week is about getting your game head on, because job seeking is a tough thing to do right now.
Wow.
And getting that little bit of extra juice. You ever seen those Olympic swimmers before they get into their sprints? They're slapping themselves on the chest and they're getting the blood to come through. They're just getting the body warmed up. And I'm a huge fan of a program that came out of the States called The West Wing, starring Martin Sheen as the president. And he was about to go on stage and give a massive speech. It was one of those keynote speeches he has to give when he's running for election. And he's literally about 50 yards away from the stage. He's being introduced. You can hear the warm-up guy saying, "Well, you're welcome to the stage." And his wife, the actress, I can't remember her name. She played Rizzo in
Greece.
In Greece, yeah. I can't remember, but she cut his tie off. And he's like, "You're crazy." And so they had to flip his collar up, grab a tie off of the press secretary, put it on. And of course, that extra energy, that huge boost of that rush of energy to get on the stage with a tie on, that's what we all need to do, isn't it? Get a little bit of woof going. So there you go.
Yeah, that's awesome. Great. And everybody gets it a different way, but you got to find your own way. So what is your daily affirmation? I'd like to hear that.
It's a daily statement. It's about 2/3 of a side of A4. So I won't go into that. But it's things that the reasons why I get up in the morning. Obviously, I want to be a great father to my daughter. I want to provide my family. There's some things around my personal health in terms of making sure I don't sit my ass all day and stuff like that. It's just if every day you say that, it's a reminder that that's the stuff you're supposed to do. And it also gives you a reason why you're doing the things that perhaps in the middle of the day you don't fancy doing. You're giving yourself a sense of purpose. And if you've slacked off the exercise, maybe, and then the following day you have to say in the morning, and I exercise diligently every day to keep my body healthy, and you haven't done it yesterday, you're kind of reminding yourself, giving yourself a bit of a kick up the arse that actually today you better double down. Because you can't slack off too long if there's a daily reminder. So there you go.
You know what? Here I am all juiced up to disagree with you, but everything you've said is so right on point.
That's all right. We'll start fighting like cats and dogs in about 2 minutes, everybody.
There you go. Well, so I got
to start with. This is like what do they call that stuff when the 2 fighters are promoting the show and they're basically that's trash talk. We blew the trash talk section because we agreed with each other. But
that's right. You're screwing the whole thing up. What do you expect? Yeah. But I do have to tell the audience and Chris Stone, because you don't know this, how. So we had, I had to contact Johnny and find out, if he wanted to do this thing. And so he says, "Tell me about your audience. Tell me about your show. Tell me about yourself." And so I told him a little bit. He goes, "Yeah, I'm completely opposite to everything you just said." That's his thing. Because I go as the sales energizer, and so we had this conversation. I said, "Well, because you disagree, you've got to come on." And to his credit, because he's such a rock star, he's deciding to do it. But I got to ask you, Big Johnny, first of all, I'm going to ask you to tell about yourself, which you could do, because I know you have that memorized. But the real question I want to know is, why would you? I am, listen, a sales guy. If you don't know me, give me a minute. We're going to go on there. And after we have the conversation, there's going to be an offer involved in this thing. I just like it. I like the whole thing. I like the cold call. I like cold toilet seats. I like everything cold. Why would you, the anti-salesman, the guy who says you should not be selling yourself, why would you come on a show like this?
It's a fair question, isn't it? Look, I'm going to fess up to something now. Dan and I actually met a trillion years ago when we were quite a lot younger. We were both heavily invested in our sales careers. I spent 15 years in sales. and I was an award winner at it. So Dan would say I've now gone to the dark side. I would say I have seen the light because I'm now an award-winning digital marketer. I don't do sales, but the last word on that sentence is anymore. It's not like I grew up and thought sales is bad. I was in it for 15 years. I loved it. Also, a little bit of housekeeping before I answer the question. I absolutely crave attention, please. So if you've got any questions, fire them into the comments. I'd love to hear what you say about things. If you've got any questions, I'm around to answer those. If you disagree with me or if you agree with me, get all that in the comments as well. There's a little bit of Johnny Love going. Come on. Also, despite my English accent, which makes me sound intelligent, allegedly, I occasionally, not very often, but I occasionally swear. So if you've got little ones in the background, put your earbuds in, or or maybe just move to another room, just in case you have to explain what language was that English man using, Mummy and Daddy. You don't want to be having that conversation in about 5 minutes' time. I'm not a very sweary person, just a little heads up. Right. I believe the very best salespeople barely sell at all. Okay. Back in the day when Dan and I were a lot younger, sales was all there was, right? And then there was no internet, right? So if you wanted to buy something, you'd have to go to the store and speak to a salesperson. There was just no way around it. Sales assistant, and however friendly and professional that process was, a sales process occurred at the end of it, and they'd try and sell you something, which is kind of what you went in there for anyway. So no big deal. It's not like that anymore, is it? If you want something, you look online, don't you? The internet's changed customers' behavior. They can look, they can do their research and zero in on a product and a supplier, if that product comes from more than one supplier, and make their choice without a salesperson even knowing they existed. So depending on what you're shopping for, you can just sling your credit card into the screen and the thing turns up in the post. At no point in the entire transaction did a salesperson get involved at all. It's no longer a sales process. It's a buying process, all right? It's a buyer's world. And that's a reason why Jeff Bezos is the richest person on the planet. More people buy stuff through Amazon than anywhere else. And when you buy from Amazon, you never speak to a salesperson, not even a sales bot. Don't even bother to fake sales anymore. They just don't do it. So there's no sales process in some of those low value transactions. It's all driven by the buyer. And I think there's a lot of stuff we can borrow from that and we can learn from that to amp up the value and quite frankly, the ease of what salespeople do.
Well, you just said a valuable thing. And again, we're in total agreement. When you're selling a product or service like this, your digital marketing, your profile, your value that you're giving on paper is the salesperson. It's the one it's doing that work for you. Yeah. You call it marketing, I call it selling, whatever it is. Click here for a free gift. You made a little sale. You force somebody to click here to make a free gift. But you said something very significant there. You said in small price transactions, low price transactions. Yeah. Now you're in the world of people who are making $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 a year, who are looking for jobs, making $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 a year. Not quite a small transaction. No. Does it still translate?
It does, but you're right in the sense that here's the thing. Look, and then look, guys, if you're a sales professional right now and you're hearing this, what do you think about this? And I just said, but basically, it's a buyer's world. You're like, no, it's not. Disagree with me if you want to, but I want to know what you think. Here's the thing: in a buyer's world, right, with a buyer's process, how does a salesperson justify their existence and add value and compete for a customer? If, say, your prospect isn't even visible, or at least not visible until quite a long way down the process when they've done a lot of their own research and they started zeroing in on things without your involvement, they've got further down what you would call a sales process, which I call a buying process because I've seen the light. And I think that you love a cold call. I think it's quite frustrating for salespeople to try and make cold prospect calls right now, because they can see their conversion rate plummets from picking up the phone because customers decided they don't need a salesperson, or at least they need them less and less. I think that's a bit of an overstatement to say they don't need them at all, but they need them less and less. They do their own research. They've got access to stuff online. They've got they've got more choice about where they get their information from. They're less dependent on a salesperson. Now that's on a curve, and I think Dan's just made the point there that if you're on $600,000 a year as a salesperson, you're probably not selling pens. all right, you're probably going to be selling, millions, if not tens of millions of pounds worth of something, IT probably. In which case, is the customer going to execute on that entire transaction without you? No, of course they're bloody not. I'm not that naive. All right. But I think it can get embarrassing if you're trying to sales pitch someone when they're trying to do something else, which is buy. All right. Then that can get a little scary if you're perhaps a salesperson from a certain generation and you're discovering your old sales processes don't work anymore. Then what do you do?
Amen. So listen, again, I'm trying to disagree with you.
That's right. We'll just gang up on Chris in a minute.
Okay.
So.
No. Hey, I'll boot myself out.
Yeah.
I'll see myself out and let the sparks fly.
Then offer some real value then.
Yeah, sure.
Here's a person who's he was a top-notch salesperson in a particular form of IT.
Yeah.
Something happened in the economy. There was some downsizing. Whatever reason, companies tend to get rid of their salespeople first, which is like the last thing they should do. But that's what they do.
Yeah.
And they want to get a new job and get out there.
Yes.
They are in their heads, they're an IT salesperson.
Yes,
That's what they want to sell, who earned a lot of money in an IT salesperson. How does that person immediately brand themselves as a top producer? Because everyone's going to listen.
Yeah.
How do they get above the crowd?
Okay, it goes to the heart of the question, and salespeople. Ironically, struggle with this the most of all of the people I help out, particularly very senior salespeople who are on, several $100,000. And it's this: the person who's going to buy you, which in this transaction is going to be the hiring manager. You're the product that's being sold. Yeah, you want to get bought by the hiring manager for a job. Think about it from their perspective. Try and get into your customer's head a little bit and think, what is it that they want? You know what? They didn't wake up this morning and say, do you know what I want? I really want a rock star salesperson, because they know they're a pain in the ass to hire. They know all salespeople know all the tricks at interviews anyway, so it's very difficult to weed out the duffers. If you've got great numbers from your last firm, then that's not going to be a differentiating point otherwise. And there's a lot of people out there with great sales numbers behind them are out of work right now because of things completely beyond their control. So stop thinking about yourself and your skills and your experience and your qualifications and your knowledge and your sales numbers. Actually, that's all about you, none of which the buyer cares about. All right. In the morning when they woke up, are stressed, right? If they're hiring you and you're on several $100,000, how much are they on? They're a very senior person with a lot of responsibility. They don't even know who you are. All right. They're not thinking about that. They're thinking about their problems. They're thinking about their pain, and they're thinking about trying to get a solution to that. So instead of saying, I'm a rock star salesperson with these numbers, this skills, experience, qualification numbers, et cetera, instead say this: I help, and then you insert the kind of business they are or the person that they are in that business. So I help heads of revenue or the commercial director or whatever it is at, I don't know, Midwest manufacturing businesses or whatever kind of sector you're in, increase revenues at a lower cost per sale by being a rock star salesperson.
Are you kidding me? Stoner, is he kidding me?
Is the last bit you say?
I don't think he's kidding you. I think
all about the customer, because they're not going to get interested in you until they think that you've got a solution for them. And
we're preaching the same song. So here's my thing.
This is no fight at all. This is no fight at all.
When I say this is my thing. When I'm coaching my clients for how to get a job, a bit high-paying job like this, I go, bring them. Don't tell them any of your history. Don't even bring a resume. I don't care about any of that. Bring them the one thing they're interested in. And what do you think that is?
Yeah.
And they go through this whole big thing. I go, how about this? Why don't you bring them a customer? See if you can get an appointment.
Yeah.
Call them up, say, hey, listen, I got a customer for you. I wanted to see if I could sit down and talk to you about it. Done. Yeah. Don't worry about selling. How often do I say this? When you got the right, when you hit the right sweet spot, you don't got to worry about selling because your prospect is too busy buying to even think about it.
So guys, we're getting some comments here in the chat, and I want to interject here, and I think it's time that, and this is like Dan's least favorite topic, so maybe we get some ire going. Maybe this will cause a little friction, because I need some friction. We need viewership, guys. We need ratings. But Pete Primo, our buddy Pete Primo, brings up the virus that shall not be named. And
we don't do that.
Oh, well, he says the gift.
It's Voldemort.
Yes,
he calls it the gift?
The gift. of this virus was B2B buyers started picking up their phones.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on that one? Any differing thoughts?
Dan, you want it, or shall I wade hip deep?
Well, I'll throw it your way, but here's my thing. So there's two different parts. Sales and marketing, if they were the same thing, they'd be spelled the same. And a lot of people think they want to learn how to sell, but they really want to learn how to prospect. So I'm not sure where if people are picking up the phone right now, that's great. But you could, I would think that, the phone is the quickest way to get things going. But maybe you could help me with some digital marketing that get people to respond quicker than that.
Yeah. So Pete's right, and here's the reason why. All right, revenue is hard to come by right now, regardless of what industry you're in. The economy shrank, businesses are going bust, layoffs are all over the place, and money being spent is in short supply. And if you're someone with budget and you want to buy something or you need something, the last thing you want is a queue of salespeople trying to pitch you their thing. All right, you haven't got that kind of time. It's not a pleasant experience. And anyway, they're just trying to sell you stuff because it makes money. They don't actually have your interest at heart. So what do you do instead? You start doing your qualification process on the quiet. You don't announce that you've got budget. You don't announce you're in the market for a thing. You just start looking. And so that portion of the sales process, the prospecting, the qualification, things you might get sales development reps to do, things that you might get junior salespeople to do before they hand it off. I've got a live one, boss. I need to hand it over to you for taking forward. All that stuff gets done by the buyer. All right, so it's taken out of the sales function now, and sales tend to get alerted to when a prospect's a live one. So all the sort of you find a lot of sales pipelines get a lot thinner in this market because all the customers who are not interested will tell you to jog on very quickly, and the customers who are interested don't want to tell the world about that because they don't want a queue of salespeople at their desk saying, "I've got the answer, boss." So pipelines will be thinner, but that's not a reflection of the revenue the salesperson's going to make. That's just a reflection that all the chaff in the pipeline got weeded out really quickly in a down market. So I think it is a gift because if you can position yourself and be very visible and be very compelling with whatever it is you do, and that's all marketing, then the prospect finds you more than they find your competition. So they find you first, you're at the front of the line. And now you've got much better qualified prospects because the prospects self-qualified themselves in. They've checked you out already and decided that actually they do quite like the cut of your jib. So yeah, go on in. Well, I'll be. You know what? I need some sales training. I saw this guy Dan Jordan. He's got huge.
Well, I'm gonna throw one to you on behalf of
equally a number of people who see your stuff online and go, "God, that guy's loud and shouty. We wouldn't have him in the office." You don't want to be talking to those customers. That's a waste of your time. So Pete's right. The gift to B2B is that the qualification process just lifted up huge. Now your job is to get to the front of the line. How do you do that? And salespeople aren't that brilliant at that. And that's what marketing does.
Well, okay, but I'll tell you what sales does. Let's say you're at the front of the line, you're still in the line. And so what happens, like Pete, he's in the furniture business. By the way, he's awesome. His stuff is great and he's really good. And he writes, Pete's about as good as they get. Yeah. But once somebody says, yes, I'm interested, let me call this guy Pete, you're just one person in there. How in your marketing world does he differentiate himself at that point when he's in actual competition? Pete's in competition with Patrick Tinney, who's also an awesome salesperson, but he's from Canada, so nobody likes him anyway.
It's less about being in competition. It's this. Pete's in the furniture business. I don't know what kind of furniture you're in, Pete, but a desk is a desk is a desk. I sit at it. My computer sits on the top of it. Quite frankly, I don't have all my interest in it. The reason why I might buy a desk from Pete rather than somebody else is because of Pete. All right. So Pete needs to get out front and allow a bit of personality out. He needs to allow a little bit of, because the desk isn't going to be the differentiating factor. It's a plank of wood and 4 legs. No one's going to get excited about that. But, service, stock holding might have a thing, price might have a thing, but a desk is a desk, But what's going to happen is, I like the way Pete does his show. That guy, he speaks my kind of language. He's from a certain part of America, the way we all speak like that. He talks about things that are resonant in my life, like, I don't know, the local football team or the hot dogs or what's the Philadelphia cheese whiz, That's not
Philly cheesesteak,
cheesesteak. It's just like, if you speak about that stuff, the customers in your area are going, that's me, that's my kind of guy. Right. You're going to get to the front of the line for their business. And that's all marketing. Got to do with your product and price.
That's right. So when the marketing gets them, when they're caught on the hook, then it's the other stuff. It's that, dare I say, salesmanship that reels them in. And I think we spoke about this on the phone the other day. We talked about, why people buy from you. And for me, it's a 4-step process. They like you, they trust you. And by the way, if you're listening to this, like comes first. Nobody, I've done presentations. I've been in a room from 1,000 people, men and women. I always ask the women, how many of you women have ever gone out on a second date? Not a first date, a second date with a person that you didn't like at all, but you trusted them. Yeah. You trust a lot of people. So like comes first, then trust. And then they believe you. Then all your marketing and all that stuff, they come to that point where they kind of believe it makes sense. What you're doing. Once you have that, and once you have like, you've already made the sale. If you have like, trust, and belief, you've already made the sale. You're just waiting around for a want or a need. And if you're good enough, you'll actually have a desire. And when they create the 4th thing is desire, they just have a desire to do business with you. Listen, if I ever get evicted, I'll find a new place. You're my real estate person.
Dan, I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to disagree with you. I'm gonna go team marketing on this.
Oh yeah.
Okay. You taught that it was beautiful, but you forgot something. None of the like, trust, desire happens if they first don't know who you are. And the only reason they're going to know who you are is if you've marketed yourself properly. Because you could be the most trustworthy person, but if nobody knows who you are, no one's going to buy what you got. So you've got to get known.
Yeah, that's right. Well, so how do you? So here you're dealing with people now, Hotshot. I love by the way, I love all these little duffer and cut of the jib. I'm digging all the stuff that these blokes use.
I've got an Americanism to slip into the chat.
Yeah, that's good stuff. We had Patrick Tinney on, and he's from Canada, and he was giving us all sorts of stuff. I don't know what language they speak there.
He's got a great question too, if you guys are ready for Patrick.
All right, let's hit him up.
Bring it on, Patrick.
How does brand alignment fit into your sales marketing world?
That's the like piece that Dan was just talking about. It's values, and people like certain values. Over here, we have a drinks company called Innocent Smoothies, and they have this sort of semi-cartoon-like, very jokey, almost slightly folksy process or brand image, which a lot of their customers like, because it's very anti-corporate. Even though Innocent Smoothies is $1 billion business, their outward brand values are all, daisy chain crowns around your head and skipping around in the meadows. And that's because Innocent Smoothies are all natural ingredients. And so they've gone down that route. But rather than hammer the ecological, sustainable thing, which is all a bit dull, they've literally gone one step further into your childhood and gone, right, daisy chains. That everybody, flowers, little flowers around the top of your head, running around in the meadow. That's all very innocent. Oh, we're innocent. Excellent. And they just hit the innocent button. That's what they went for. So that's, people like that. I think that's me. I think of the world like that. I'm a Karen Carpenter fan. I'm a Janis Joplin fan. That's me. I want the world to be a simple place. You're going to buy into that. And that's the branding piece. That branding is how you hammer the like button. That's what you hammer it with.
To become likable.
Yeah.
And so you're saying likable can actually transfer into real dollar, like in your world of getting people hired for big time jobs.
Yeah.
Likability gets them literally more money.
Yeah.
So how does somebody who's patently some people are unlikable. I have family members.
Not to everybody. I mean, again, 50% of the people watching are like, Dan Jordan, love him. That's exactly the piece. The other 50% are going, wow, he's just a really shouty guy. I'm not doing that. So we're not all likable to all people. Okay.
Yeah.
I coach some really serious people in the financial services industry. So our equivalent of Wall Street is called the square mile. And there are people there who work in banks who are, they've got the personality equivalent of watching paint dry. It's so dull. These people are actuaries. They're kind of like, the least interesting accountant you could ever meet in your world. But their very dry intellectual humor resonates with the people they want to be hired by. So when they make a joke about an algorithm, which no one else gets, and there's like 3 people who fall about with laughter, that's the audience they're trying to hit. So you don't have to be a show person. You don't have to get a sequin jacket on and do a show. You just have to be you, because you, the real you, is who some people, not everybody, some people really want to hire that. And they're going to see the paint dry and go, the personality of beige, that's exactly what we want in our office. And you win. You win just by being you. But you've got to allow people to see it. That's visibility and that's marketing.
So beautiful. Do you suggest that an individual gets their own website or gets their own, how do you begin the process of getting somebody marketing themselves without selling themselves?
Very simple. Do a post on LinkedIn, do a little video on LinkedIn, 2 minutes long. They don't care about your name. They don't care about your qualifications. They don't care about experience. Don't do a resume. All right. If you are a serious sales professional, then this video is for you. If you are concerned about your revenues falling off, that's because the economy is shrinking. And then I'm going to talk about some things about how you feel about that. Then I'm going to talk about the win you can have if you did things differently. Then I'm going to talk about the things that you could do differently. So that's going to be of education there. Then I'm going to tell you why you should get more of that education from me, because I'm a bit of a shot in this space. And the call to action is contact Dan Jordan on this number. And that's it. The whole thing's going to be wrapped up in 2 minutes flat. And you can do anything on that basis, because that's just a structure. You can hang any content on that. And some people are going to see that and go, we do need that problem, but I'm not hiring that guy because no way, that their face is never going to fit in our business. And the other rest of the audience are going to go, that's exactly our problem. And that guy rocks. Let's get him in for a meeting, because that could be a real win for us, because they've already know you because you appear in their world, and they've decided they probably like you because they've seen you. You've skipped over the know and like hurdle before you've even met them. They've already started down their buyer's journey before you're even aware that there was a sale to be made. Oh, hello. Are you in marketing?
Yeah, that's right.
What I liked about that, Dan, is when you go to LinkedIn, a lot of people think I need to say I, me, and everything. But you notice that script that he just went through was all about you. You're speaking about them. You're speaking about, and if your customer is someone that you want to hire you, you're talking about them. You're talking about their solutions that you're providing for them. That's what I loved about it.
Yeah. So I could tell right away, this guy is a big fan of Dan Kennedy, Russell Brunson, Gary Halbert. These are, Carlton. These are all, listen, I always tell my clients, I said, there's 3 words that literally repel your prospects from you. They push them away. And then there's 3 words that attract them. 3 words that repel them are I, we, and us. Nobody cares about that. The 3 words that attract them are you, yours, and y'all. I'm in the South, baby. We say y'all.
Y'all.
Yeah, that's right. Can you say that? You Brits can say that?
We can, but we sound like we're trying to sound like an American. No one says it in the UK. But and it's a bit like you say y'all. Joe Tribbiani and Friends says use because he's an Italian American. And
that's right.
There's going to be there's an audience for everyone. Just allow yourself to be yourselves. A little tip and go. They're our kind of a person. All right. Don't try and push that up. Look, at the end of the day, I think if you're a serious sales professional and you want to do well in a tight market where there's fewer jobs than there are job seekers, then the buyer's journey, which is a marketing phrase, but it's basically just an order in which you present information before you ask someone to make a decision, normally to buy something, which is why it's called the buyer's journey. It's been knocking around since the late 70s. I didn't innovate this. It's just that since we've moved online, all of us marketers have been watching the buyer's behavior, the customer, and we've now codified it. It's got PhD theses have been written on this. It's got its own Wikipedia page, for crying out loud. This is a thing, all right? If you haven't bothered to pay attention to it, then you lose, all right? Because there's another salesperson who's, rather than, hello there, my name's Dan Jordan, I'm a sales trainer, I've got this sales certificate, I've got 15 years of sales experience. No one gives a fuck, right? There you go. There's the Anglo-Saxon.
Hey, ring the bell.
Ding, ding. What they care about is themselves, their problems. So if you are a business that's suffering with revenue losses because you're struggling with sales, blah, 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 that's going to resonate with them, all right? And a proportion of the people that resonates with are also going to like you. There you go. There's your buyer's journey. So look, there's a whole bunch of stuff on that, which is in an ebook, which I've written. So you can have that for free on me. I promised Dan I'll come armed with gifts. So I'll let you have all that in a minute. And there's a whole bunch of other stuff that I can give away in a second when you're ready for that, guys. But
yeah. So let me put this on the screen. If Johnny, you move to your left a bit, Dan to your right a little bit, we're gonna pop this right on here. Yeah, your other right, Dan.
Oh yeah, look at that.
There it is. I downloaded this thing and started popping it open. And I'm going to put the link in the chat right now for everyone. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Johnny, this is awesome. There's a great question from P Primo, and I'm interested about this as well. Is what are some of your favorite marketers? Who are, like for Dan, his favorite, Zig Ziglar, and that's his, but for you, like, who are your inspirations? Who are your, who do you go to, even currently, or maybe even in the past?
So I can give you a couple of answers to that. But Zig Ziglar, what's his line? If you help enough people get what they want, you'll get what you want. Now, I know that's supposed to be a sales thing, but isn't that all about the customer first and then you second? You bank the money by helping them out. Don't talk about you, talk about them. So I think Zig Ziglar was secretly a marketer. I like a ton of people that Dan mentioned earlier, Dan Kennedy and Russell Brunson, all this stuff. But my favorite one, who isn't really a marketer, but he's a behavioral psychologist called, where it is, there he is, Robert Cialdini. I'll get that on the screen for you. Robert Cialdini. And he writes a book called Influence. He did another one called Persuasion. Whilst he's a PhD, it's actually a really nice read. He talks about, very anecdotally, he storifies it for you. So there you go.
Yeah. Well,
excellent.
I think that's awesome. And one thing that you didn't add to this, which I feel compelled to do, is that in this world, you're absolutely right. Listen, sales will get you so far, and marketing will get you so far. But together, you're limitless. And in this environment right now, where the world is literally in your living room, when your living room is Main Street to the planet, it's crazy not to take advantage of this. Yeah. Billions of people are out there. The slimmest of niches that you have, if you're the type of person that's been building underwater baskets for the last 5 years and having problems, this is for you. You can find a market for that. Yeah. If you ask that question and then do your story process. So, do you have a coaching program for people?
I do. I can talk about that in a second, but you're right. This turned out to be a lot less of a fight. I'm going to have to go and find a small person to punch in a minute just to get the fight going. But the questions I always ask, people come to me and they say, I've got all these skills, I've got all this knowledge, I've got all these qualifications, I've got all this experience, I've got a great resume, look at all these blue chips I've worked for, look at my numbers, I'm a brilliant salesperson. And then I say, what problem do you solve? And they go, because hardly anybody thinks about it from the other person's perspective, from the customer's perspective. What problem are you solving for them? And they're like, and until you get that question nailed, you lose, all right? You're going to come second to the person who's got that nailed. So what problem do you solve? And then who owns that problem? That's going to be your customer. And then where are they? Where do they hang out, online and offline? So that you can go and talk to them. Before you talk to them, listen to them, and then reflect that language back to them. You'll sound like an insider rather than someone pitching to them from the outside. And then you can start talking about your solution. Yeah. And that's, for me, you can get a lot of that process of, getting that message out there, finding out where these people are. Just get marketing to your heavy lifting for you. Because, if you're a salesperson, what you really, really want is, to do less work, quite frankly. Who wants to do prospecting and research and qualification calls if you can get someone else to do it for you? You want to have more potential customers rather than just names on a list, right? Let's qualify out all the people who weren't going to buy. Let's just get rid of them. Lose them from the pipeline. They were never going to turn into revenue. Ditch them. Get marketing to qualify them out for you. And then what you've got left with is very well qualified prospective customers who've already made half a decision that you're their person. That is going to be much higher conversion rates. And who doesn't want that job? Now, you're not going to get to do that on your own, right? So work with a marketer and get them to do that early heavy lifting for you. Because if you don't, all right, us marketers, we're just going to take your lunch, all right? And if you don't think that's true, just ask Jeff Bezos, all right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We had another one of our good friends, Victor Antonio. I was speaking with him offline. He's a big time speaker. And he was saying to me, because we salespeople, we kind of like to get into the fray every once in a while and play around. He goes, man, I don't get to sell anymore. He goes, by the time they call me, because of all my marketing and all my videos and all this, they're 95% sold. It's like, are you alive? Great. How's this date? I mean, he doesn't get a chance to sell anymore because all of your garbage that took care of that on the front end.
Well, as you say, it's my garbage, but the internet allowed the buyers to buy. Yes. It's not that, marketers stole salesperson's lunch. It's just that the buyers decided to eat a different meal. And so, look, I will help you. Like marketers, I've got my marketing hat on. I will help you. All right. Pluck the bird, baste it, and put it in a tin. It'll be oven ready, as just what you just said. Is that you're basically the sales bit is just the last bit of shutting the door and turning the oven on. It's done. Now, marketers don't get to play with the oven. All right. So we are going to need that sharp end of the sword, the pointy end of the stick, to do the sales piece for us. Because there's always some fucking question about contract negotiation, which marketers don't want to go anywhere near. So you're going to need a salesperson just to deal with that last minute objection, because it came outside of the process. So they're always going to be there, but you are going to find more and more salespeople, particularly for high ticket stuff, which is mostly what my crowd handle because they're very large amounts of money. That stuff, 2/3 to 60%, something like 60-70% of the process is going to be handled by marketing, because who wants to waste their time with people who aren't buying? Right?
Yes.
Yeah, so and
then the 40% is the part where you have to close. But by the way, which one earns the money? The closing part or the marketing part?
There's no revenue until the customer spends. None at all.
Okay. So we're gonna like it or not, Johnny Walker Red. We're gonna have to get married in some fashion. Marketing and sales.
Well, Johnny, I should say that Dan actually has done a really good job of a digital marketing piece.
Yeah.
But I think before we get to that, we have a word from our sponsor.
Well, if your sales team sucks and you don't know what to do, call Deej 678-910-9912. Call Deej 678-910-9912.
There we go. That's what you get on Fiverr.
But isn't it interesting? If your sales sucks, it's all about the customer, right?
Yeah.
Only at the end, call this number. All the rest of the thing was all about the customer.
Solutions. Call Deej.
Yeah, that's it. There we go. Yeah, you're exactly right. So I've fallen into your world unknowingly, which is awesome. By the way, anybody out there, listen, if you're watching this on YouTube and you haven't subscribed yet, just subscribe to YouTube. This way you'll get the notifications and all that stuff.
Yeah,
it's right over there. So tell us one last thing, how people can get your coaching program or get your services, because I think you're awesome and we probably need to talk offline.
Fine. As you know, I don't do sales, so you can't buy the program. There is no sales pitch here today. What I'll do instead is I'll give you something for free. Okay. Every 6 or 7 weeks, I do a free 5-day mini masterclass on how to get all the heavy lifting done prior. So if you're a small service business, people use this program for that. No management consultancy has a bank of phone jockeys smiling and dialing to win those big multi-million-pound contracts. PwC and Deloitte do not have a sales function, right? What they have is a marketing function and some very senior subject matter experts who then take it over the finish line. And if you're an independent consultant who wants to do high-value consulting and you want to bring in some leads, this program will show you how to do that. If you want to get your a job, which is basically a lead for money, it's just the same thing, different wrapping, then this program will help you do that. The program has one single metric, which is that your ideal job will come and find you. You're no longer going to apply for anything, all right? It will find you, because that will happen faster, and you'll understand why I want to come on the program. Faster, for more money, because the value proposition will be higher, without you even having to sell yourself. Get the buyer to buy you. Before you spend any money on that program, which I won't let you do anyway, a free 5-day mini masterclass with me starts on the next one's November the 9th, all right? So we're about 4 weeks away. That's completely gratis. At the end of that 5 days, if you take what you've learned and run with it and bank the result, go for gold. No obligation to do anything more with me whatsoever. My job in that 5 days is basically not to just kill you with kindness, but to absolutely crush you with kindness, so that a small percentage of you will go, wow, this guy really rocks. And I quite like him. So there's the know and like piece will get done in those 5 days. And you'll go on to continue to work with me. That will be money. And at that point in time, you'll know how much that costs and you'll decide for yourself if it's for you. But I run those free masterclasses every 7 weeks. We help out hundreds of people on them. I'm told by my team, the next masterclass I'm running on the 9th of November will have over 1,000 participants. Okay, so you'll be in pretty good company that 5 days. And at the end of it, you'll know exactly what the problem is you solve and how to articulate it so well. You'll have a world-beating elevator pitch, a world-beating executive summary for your CV, a world-beating headline, and banner for your LinkedIn profile. All that, hello there, lovely to meet you, Dan. What do you do? the next thing that comes out of your mouth is normally, I work in sales. I know I'm going to solve all that for you. And if you just take away that away and run with it, that's fine. But a lot of you are going to go, wow, this guy's magical. I want more of that. And that's how I put food on my table. So that all happens at the end of the course. Of course, I'm not going to kid you. At the end of 5 days with me, I'm going to say, would you like more? And that's where you'll pay. So,
that is now, is it 5 full days, like 5 8-hour days?
No, there's small tasks every day. So 6 o'clock in the morning in UK time, I release a little task. Some of those are only 5-minute tasks. Some of them are half-hour tasks. Then at lunchtime, I check in. How you doing with it? Got any questions for me? And then in the evening, I sit there with a glass of wine and do a 1-hour Ask Me Anything session. And so really, the whole thing will probably only take you about an hour and a half across the entire week.
All right. So you're going to at least have 2 more participants on that. We'll do that. And if you were watching the show, is that my phone ringing?
Hey, listen. Since this fight looks to be
son.
This fight looks to be over, and it has to go to the judges, and I'm going to be, the third party judge.
Yeah.
And let me see. I'm calculating. Carry the one. Carry the one. Let me get my abacus out. It's officially a draw.
Yeah, okay, there we go. That's good. You rolled over. But listen, if you're out there watching this thing, you're thinking, what can I do to get more customers, which is the only thing, or what can I do to get that job? It's not depend on anything else going on in the environment. It's not depending on anything that's going on with this virus that shall not be named. The difference is whether or not you are going to take action right now and do something different today than you did yesterday, something a little bit more today than you did yesterday. And that might just be taking this course and making it happen for yourself. It's not anybody else that's going to do anything. It's by you taking the first step. Do it today and you'll make it the best day of your life. You're the best. I'm the Deej. Go get them today.